Good morning, students. How are you? In the previous lecture, we have read about the role of constitution. Clear? In this, we have read about fundamental rights, and today we will read about fundamental duties. Fundamental duties. As we know, beta, duties and rights are two sides of a coin. If we want to enjoy our rights, then we should also obey our duties. Clear? Fundamental duties. Part 4A was added to the Constitution through the 42 Amendment in 1976. It carries the 10 fundamental duties under Article 51A. How many fundamental duties? 10 fundamental duties. In which article? Under Article 51A. Clear? First fundamental duties is we should respect our national flag, national anthem. We should also follow the noble ideas. Clear? Next is we should protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Next is we should defend our country. We should promote the spirit of common brotherhood. We should preserve the rich heritage. We should protect and improve the natural environment. Next is to develop the scientific temper and humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. Next is we should not damage the public property. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. Clear? These are the fundamental duties, 10 fundamental duties. Next is there is no provision in the Constitution for enforcement of these duties. We can't force the people to obey these duties. Clear? And there is no sanction is prevent their violation. However, courts have the power to provide constitutional validity to these duties. Next is special provision relating to the certain classes. Certain classes we can say lower classes, SC, BC, scheduled tribes, etc. The Indian Constitution wanted to get rid any discrimination against any class or person on grounds of religion, race or place of birth. Clear? Part 16 of Indian Constitution contains Article 330 to 342 which safeguard the interest of certain classes, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. Next is government of state specify the caste, race and tribes which shall for the purpose of the constitution be deemed to be the scheduled caste. Article 330 and 332. These provides for the reservation of seats in the Lok Sabha for the scheduled caste and tribes. Same in Article 332. It also reservation in the state legislature. Article 334 extended the time duration of validity of the incentive from 50 to 60 years. Beta, these articles you have to learn. Clear? Next is under Article 338, a commission called the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes and Scheduled Caste of India was established. Under Article 336, the Anglo-Indian were included in the list of these classes. Clear? 340 article includes backward classes in the list. These provisions are aimed at uplifting the standard of life of underprivileged classes of India. Special provision provide the recognition to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, backward classes and other underprivileged classes, and also provide equal opportunities for their development. This is the main conclusion of this passage. Clear? Why are laws required? Laws, why are laws required? Laws are rules and regulations. We know no man can live alone, so that's why it is essential that no individuals behave in such a manner as to harm another member of the society. No dominant groups can be allowed to try to subjugate the less dominant groups. So that's why laws are required to prevent chaos and confusion and to keep the society in order. Why are laws required? Laws are required. First is no to prevent choice and confusion and to keep the society in order. Clear? Why these are required? For choice and confusion and to keep the society in order. Next is everyone should have equal opportunities to progress in life. The example about dowry and anti-dowry laws explain how effective laws can help in rooting out practices which have become an evil in our society. Beta, what do you mean dowry? Dowry is, we call it dahez in Hindi. Clear? Dowry means money, movable and immovable property and goods given by the bride's family to the groom's family, groom, at the time of marriage. That is called dowry. It was an old custom, but now it has become a menace. Menace because if the girls don't bring the dowry, then the groom's family torture her. Clear? They demanded her from her for dowry. Clear? So it is a large number of new brides were physically and emotionally tortured. If she does not bring dowry, then she is physically and emotionally tortured because they brought was considered inadequate. Clear? Next is after that the kind of violence and threat of violence. It also increase a number of murders. The evil of dowry system has so far taken the lives of thousands of brides. Clear? Next is anti-dowry laws. Anti-dowry laws means there were no laws against dowry prior to independence. After that, after the independence, Dowry Prohibition Act was passed. First time 1961, and after that in 1984 it was amended. There were so many weak points. So they amended it in 1984. Clear? In 2005, an act called the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act was passed, which gave women more protection from harassment for dowry. Clear? Government as well, beta, I am explaining in brief, so listen carefully. Government as well as NGOs are making efforts to educate the people about the need to remove the practice completely from society and to abide by the laws of the land. Clear? Legitimacy of the law. Who makes laws? Who? By the representatives of the people in parliament. Who makes the laws? By the representatives of the people in parliament. They take guidelines for making laws from the constitution of the country. Next is who gives authority to a law? Who gives? Constitution gives the authority to a law. Who gives the? Constitution gives the authority to a law. After that, laws and dissent. Dissent means disagreement, when which constitution make the laws, but sometimes people are disagree with those laws. Clear? Law-making history is full of dissent and public protest. The British had made India their colony. They had copied India and opposed such rules, which resulted in public resentment and disobedience. Clear? After that, Satyagraha, Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March in 1930. The British had imposed a law that dissent agreement. British had imposed a law. Then the people, Indian people, imposed it. Dissent. They were disagree with that law. So people were not allowed and sale of allowed to make salt. They were forced to buy it at high prices from shops. Gandhiji said to break the salt law. Clear? Gandhiji wanted to rally more and more people to stand up in the fight against the British. Gandhi started the march from Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad on 12th March 1930. The march gained momentum as it proceeded towards Dandi, a coastal village in Gujarat. Clear? Thousands of Indians rallied behind Gandhiji. He reached Dandi on 6th April. Clear? And prepared a handful of salt from the seawater here. Importance of Salt Satyagraha. What was the importance? Number 1. For the first time, women took part in the freedom struggle. Clear? Second is first time the movement of non-violence was acknowledged by the world. The movement made by the British think seriously of the demands of the Indian people. Clear? Impact of Salt Satyagraha. What was the impact? Fearing greater Indian unrest, the British government decided to hold a series of meetings called the Round Table Conferences. When the people were disagree with their law, then they were having a fear they will violent against them, so that's why they decided to hold a meeting. Clear? After that, according to a pact known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed between the Viceroys of England in India, Lord Irwin and Gandhiji. When it was signed 5 March 1931, among various concessions given to Indians, making of salt by the peoples along the coasts were allowed. Clear? The civil disobedience movement was withdrawn and all the leaders arrested so far were released. Topic is clear? If there is any doubt, you can ask me. Thanks. Have a nice day.